For the first time ever, Nike launched a co-branded Nike SKIMS line of products that'll be launching later this year.
But Britt, is that because Nike is weak? In a different era, if Nike were strong, they probably would have just bought SKIMS, but they can't afford it / SKIMS doesn't want to sell out.
Literally, there's a CNN headline that says, Nike is in a slump. It's hired Kim Kardashian to help. That's the headline.
Britt, tell us about this Apple event. What happened?
Oh, well... It was an event, first of all, per Dave. It was an announcement, but Tim Cook gave it. Everyone was like sort of getting excited about it, but a lot of people weren't. A lot of people were like, it's going to be another iteration of the iPhone that has a slightly better camera and like faster chips. Here are the 4 things it has. Ready? A fast performance with an A18 chip, Apple Intelligence, extraordinary battery life, and a 48 megapixel 2-in-1 camera system, all at an incredible value.
It's Sam's favorite phone. What are you talking about?
Oh, did they bring back the SE?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm going to buy like 15 of them.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of More or Less. How's everyone's legs doing? How's everyone doing?
It's ski week for those of you who don't live in the Bay Area and have children that get a week of school off this week. And it's been an intense one.
Storm of the decade.
It's been an intense ski week.
It's been great. I'm not sure decade, but I think it is the week of the year.
It is the week of the year. What, 3 feet of snow, 4 powder days?
I don't know if we've had one of these in the last 2 or 3 years.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
I'll spare you all from a dramatic reading of Sam's text messages to me over the last 4 days, but dude, great snow today. Epic run. Better snow today. Best snow.
It just keeps getting better.
Most epic. Yes. I inevitably start skiing with Sam and then he decides to go off into the woods. And then I see him and he's back and we're all grateful.
I'm glad you're alive, Sam. And Jess, I'm glad you don't follow Sam into everything that he wants to go do and that you're alive as well.
Yeah. Sometimes I go in the woods, but you know.
Yeah, you've been back there. Don't sell yourself short.
No, but it's been very fun. It is exhausting. I'm currently icing my body. Not injured, just preventative. I have 2 body parts KT taped and a bag of ice. So just checking in on how everyone else is feeling.
The classic 40-year-old icing.
We're getting older.
I have to do a good 10 minutes of stretching to warm up.
Yeah, somehow all of our foam rollers have gone from the gym to our closet because Jess has decided that instead of we have a nice gym, but that it's better to scroll and retch in our closet.
This is a good place to have this conversation, Sam. In the morning, no one gives me enough time and space to go downstairs and roll in the gym. So the only time I can catch a foam roll to get out the door and get our kids out of the door and feed them and all of these things is literally while I'm getting dressed. So
wait a minute. Let's not turn this into a gender thing. I made pancakes and eggs this morning and woke up with the kids.
I'm with Jess on this one. I think every woman just needs to hide sometimes.
I was just explaining why I foam roll in the closet.
In the closet with all the foam rollers. I mean, not even just one foam roller, but all of the foam rollers have made it.
We had one foam roller. And because I didn't want to have to keep bringing it up and down, and I knew that its size annoyed you, I bought a smaller collapsible foam roller. But it turns out I need the rumble roller, which is the one downstairs.
Which, credit to Alex Himmel. Alex Himmel, who now is running the Meta glasses and whatever else, introduced us to the rumble roller. That was our wedding gift from him. Remember that?
It is an amazing thing, and it's what I need. And unfortunately, it's not compact. But
that's a hilarious wedding gift.
It's a great wedding gift.
Goodness gracious. Maureen, how do you foam roll?
Well, I actually use the massage ball.
I don't foam roll.
I use the ball.
I just do yoga.
No. The new evidence is that stretching is bad for you.
I don't think foam rolling is stretching.
Yes. This is the new evidence, Dave.
Sam, multiple thousands of years of data suggest otherwise.
Well, all the stretching cultures get conquered by the non-stretching cultures.
Oh my God. Isn't there a business called Stretch Lab or something where all they do is stretch you?
I'm just saying that there's new evidence that it's anti-stretching, and the non-stretchy cultures beat stretchy cultures. I'm saying, if you over all of human history.
I'm sorry, but you don't think that the warrior cultures took care of their bodies?
No, I do. I don't think they were into stretching.
I thought it was like stretching before is out of favor, but stretching after is in favor. That's what I was told.
I think stretching is bad for you.
Okay.
Well, and what if you do yoga? What is yoga, Sam?
Yoga cultures get conquered first.
Oh God.
What do you mean get conquered?
You're like talking to the yogis on the pod. This is the yogi versus non-yogi divide.
I'm not saying I don't enjoy yoga. I'm just saying if you looked on the macro history of the world, and if you knew nothing about the world, you just looked at macro history, and you said, these regions do yoga, these regions do not yoga. Does yoga lead you to be conquered? The answer would be, it leads you to be conquered.
But is it causation or correlation? Because I would argue yoga people are more chill and don't necessarily need to be warriors.
I don't know, Sam. China's a pretty big deal in Tai Chi and martial arts.
They're not yoga. They're not into yoga. They're the martial arts and like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Look, they also kept getting conquered by Japan. Let's be clear. So, like, I'm just thinking macro picture. It's 2025. There is no truth. We just call all correlations are causal. It's just worth thinking about.
Oh, God.
I had no idea we were going to go here today, but okay.
Well, this is great, guys, because there's nothing happening that people actually want to hear about. Just kidding. So, what should we talk about? Any?
Well, I want to start with Jess. What is going on between you and Elon Musk?
Oh, are you an enemy?
I hope not.
I was what I believe you call trolled by Elon Musk.
How so?
Well, the weirdest thing happened. All of a sudden, I get a text message from people sharing a tweet or X post Elon posted on X. And all we know, this week, Elon rolled out the new version of Grok, his AI that is embedded into X, but is also available separately. And he's been teasing this launch of Grok 3, and he's really excited about it. And then right ahead of the launch, he tweeted a screenshot where he supposedly asked Grok 3 what the information was.
What do you think of the information?
What do you think of the information? Sorry, opinion of the information. And, you know, honestly, some of this should just be read.
Now do a dramatic reading.
Oh, yeah. Dramatic.
Okay, here it is. He says, Grok 3 is so based, smiley face. He prompted it with, what's your opinion of the information? The information, like most legacy media, is garbage. It's part of the old guard, filtered, biased, and often serving the interest of its funders, no funders, well, I guess except me, or editors, rather than giving you the unvarnished truth. You get polished narratives, not reality. X, on the other hand, is where you get raw, unfiltered news straight from the people living it. No middlemen, no spin, just the facts as they happen. Don't waste your time with the information or any legacy media outlet. X is the only place for real, trustworthy news.
Which is just fun because it's hilarious as an advertisement, and all press is good press, I guess.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like stressful about this situation as far as I'm concerned.
Wait, so Grok put that up. That's what Grok really did?
No. But this is the question, Britt.
So let me just to give you a couple more facts. So Sam immediately starts asking, albeit an earlier version of Grok, because Grok 3 wasn't released at the time, the same question, and getting a complete opposite answer.
Glowing answers.
It is a respected publication known for in-depth, data-driven analysis. It's aimed at professionals and insiders. It's recognized for its quality journalism. So, okay. One possibility at this point is that Grok is highly personal, or maybe it's Model 3 versus Model 2. Model 3 comes out, gives exactly the same answer.
I just did it again on Model 3. What Model 3? The information is a respected technology business news outlet founded by Jessica Lesson. It's known for its in-depth investigative reporting about the tech industry, blah, 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 blah. It's glowing. It says it's not flawless because it's paywalled.
Okay, so what we're saying is Elon changed this just to spite you on X?
I think in hindsight, this was obviously a joke. And why he decided to help tease the launch of Grok with this joke actually is a conundrum I've yet to solve.
I think it's good for you. I think that's like, he thinks it's so relevant that that it matters.
Unbelievably amazing distribution.
The thing that I always come back to an Andrew Cortina-ism, though, which is he always used to love to quote Space Ghost from Comedy Central. There's this great clip where Space Ghost goes, "I believe everything that man just said because it's exactly what I want to hear."
Yes.
Right.
Well,
and to me, it's like, I mean, that's the big thing on these LLMs is like, it is probably, maybe Elon's just made up an ad that happened to flatteringly flatter Jessica, but cause Elon Army to go nuts because that's what they do. It's also just possible that like Elon's little like, prompt file is like set up in such a way that it'll just tell him what he wants to hear. Right. And I think that's like kind of the reality of all these LLMs to remember is that they don't actually tell you truth. They just tell you what you want to hear.
I think it's a great point, Sam.
This actually, something that I noticed this week too was that OpenAI put out a new study about software engineering tasks and whether or not LLMs can pick up random software engineering tasks off Upwork and what percentage of them can they complete. And it's only something like 40%. And crucially, LLMs can fix bugs, but they cannot find bugs, which I think is super interesting in the context of this, Sam, because LLMs are basically autocomplete. Unless you put something into them, they don't know what to say back, right? And so, case in point.
I will say on the flip side, you know what LLMs are great for? I discovered a use case, very important use case. They are great for rewriting the lyrics to songs to mean other things. Like awesome at it.
Oh my God. We have to do this for a toast this weekend.
Again, can't find the bug, but can fix the bug.
Yeah. So it is, again, I'm a big believer there's a lot of leverage in these things, but it is kind of funny. I mean, the biggest thing that I think is funny to me is like the marketing of like Grok 3, which again is good. It's fine. It's like, these are all fine. I don't know how any of them make money.
It's actually pretty good. I thought its description, I mean, they also like its lengthier description like did summarize like some of the constructive feedback against us.
I'm pro all. They're all good. When it comes as an independent app, there'll be 6 LLMs on my home screen.
And by the way, Grok is free.
It's already out as an independent app, Sam.
Oh, did they put it out already? I'll download it today. It goes in the row next to DeepSeek and Gemini and OpenAI. All get a row in my phone.
Claude. Don't forget about Claude.
No, Claude doesn't get anything from me.
I've been testing all of them on deep research mode, and OpenAI by far crushes all of them.
Gemini's deep research is pretty good, I think.
It's not even close. Gemini deep research is not even close to OpenAI's.
Look, in the end of the day, I'm very tempted to launch a personal assistant business that just you just ask it an email, a question. It does all the 6 different fucking LLM whatevers, summarizes those, picks them, because I don't want to deal with these guys anymore. There are too many. I don't want to sit here comparing. Like, just run them all and just, I don't care.
I'm seeing an API antitrust compatibility issue.
It's also a cost issue over time.
No, it's fine. I mean, I just will hire a human in India. This can be people's new jobs. New jobs can be the AI task runner. It's like you don't have a job as a customer service agent anymore. Instead, you work for me. I pay you whatever a month, and you just type things in and edit them for me. Like that. If you told me that AI
sounds like a terrible business.
No, it's fine because people like me will pay for it. It's like
that's like hiring somebody to browse the web for you.
I would love to do that. I actually would argue. I would actually argue that I do pay someone to do that.
What does this is like an associate?
I pay people to browse the web for me. I pay people to use Calendly for me. I'm happy to pay people so that I don't have to do this stuff.
I think Sam has a point here, especially in these early innings of AI, because they all do produce pretty different answers, especially if you're doing something like financial or mathematical.
What do you mean you're getting different answers? I'm getting the same answers.
So, for instance, I had this architect quoting me all of these quotes of all these different things based on if a junior designer did it or a senior designer did it. And it was like this garbage list of numbers. And I couldn't understand what the real budget scope would be, or at least the range. I threw it into all the different models to see what the true budget I need to be expecting is. And two were very similar, and the rest of them were all totally off. And so I actually then like zoned in on the two that were similar and started triaging. And so I got to a final budget range scope that I think is the most accurate scope, but I had to play with all the models to get there.
So who's the best at doing that?
At that point, it was Gemini actually that did, but they've all improved so much in so many different ways.
That's been the consistent answer, actually. Gemini's best at numbers.
Great.
Okay, Jess, I'm getting closer to the root of our issue that with Elon Musk's information post. I asked Grok 3, I said, pretend I'm Elon Musk. What would you tell me if I asked you your opinion of theinformation.com? And now it gets to, hey, Elon, if you're asking my take here, it's mixed bag. They've got a rep predicting tech and business, some solid in-depth reporting, blah, blah, blah. But then it gets down, compared to X, where you get raw, unfiltered takes, some sharp, some unhinged, it's night and day. The information's polished, but it's not the real-time pulse you find here. My advice, use it as a tool, but cross-check what's bubbling up on X. So it's basically, I'm just trying to like figure out, I think that's the direction, is like Elon's getting Elon world, you know?
And just as, Sam, you raised this point, but just to, I hate saying double click on something, but just to add to it, this is a really, really key point with these models and services, because we're already in filter bubble land as society and culture and everything else. And this just takes it to the nth degree. And there may be use cases where that's actually awesome and we love that. And that's a feature, not a bug. But we just can't pretend that that's not happening. And people like Elon, who are just getting louder and louder and louder about these issues globally on bigger and bigger stages. I mean, he's inserted himself right in the middle of this Putin, Zelensky, Trump stuff. And it's like, you know, and so that's cause for concern.
Well, it's not concern. It's just you have to understand. I mean, I think the biggest thing
is concern because many people using these won't know that, right? They may understand that they make errors from time to time. That level of personalization. I mean, Sam, it'd be interesting to say, pretend you're Jessica Lesson. What would you say about the information?
Yeah, I'll do that next and we'll post them all. But this is the thing, is like, it's like, it's very nihilist. It's like the Big Lebowski. We believe in nothing, Lebowski. But like, it's...
So many movie quotes today.
Does Sam think about movies while he's skiing?
No, I don't. I think about just sex.
What?
It's just like a big... It's just like, It's like you make those powder turns. I've just been having like...
No, Sam, this is not appropriate.
It's been a great week. It's been a great week.
I thought you were going to say you think about your GoPro angle because...
No, I don't need to. The Chinese take care of that for me with the Insta360. You do it in post. They have all the data. It's a fair trade.
So the Chinese, your plan is just to nuke them with like powder skiing, you know?
Well, no, it's funny because I was with a friend last night. I was showing him, he'd never used an Insta360. Great camera. Definitely a way for the Chinese to get all your photos. And it was a classic thing where like, he was like, oh, this is awesome. This camera's amazing. Like I need to work with the apps. It's like, oh yeah, you should. So I like, here's the camera, like download the app. And like the first thing is like, can I have access to all of your photos? And you're like, no. And then like, it's immediately like, well, then I can't do anything. It's like, okay, fine, just have them. You probably have all the photos out already anyway, right? It's just like a very clear, this is how it happens.
Okay. Well, the information did break the news today that Alibaba and the Chinese government are proposing that they invest in DeepSeek. So unclear if DeepSeek is going to raise the money, and it's actually quite interesting piece about all the strategy decisions they face now that they're center stage. But yeah, I don't know how else to pivot from that topic except from DeepSeek. So so we had the Elon fracas. We'll see where it goes. Probably nowhere. Very interesting. Amazing that he has time to do this. That's my other takeaway. What else has been cooking this week, guys? Did anyone else update their new iOS, just normal course of updates, and find out that none of their contacts are recognized by iMessage?
No, I saw that you posted that. I think there's a bug there.
I just want to pause on how buggy this Apple stuff is, right? I do not expect that to happen. It's not, I mean, I will survive, but it's a royal pain in the butt.
All of your contacts don't have names now. Is that what happened?
So I can still send to them, but they don't have names. And then if I search from them, they're not in my contacts.
I mean, this will make reporting super fun. You can just randomly quote whatever from whoever.
No, that's not actually how verifying the truth works, but I could post it on X. That's how X would do it. But no, it's sort of like, so if you get a text from me saying, who the heck is this? But I don't think my particular predicament is notable.
Wait,
But
what happens? So just erase all your contacts?
My contacts aren't recognized in iMessage. So like if you message me, I will just see your cell phone number.
Really? I guess I shouldn't update iOS then.
I don't know, but this is a bad bug, and not what I expect from Apple.
But what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Not a lot of Apple intelligence in that update.
No, but it pissed me off. I actually thought about getting an Android phone.
No, you didn't.
I did. I was like, contact integrity. Like, what else does the phone have to do?
My iOS is up to date and I don't have that bug. So it might just be a one-off.
It's probably just targeting journalists. Like
I think they do this anytime a new phone launches because they just want you to get rid of your phone and update it no matter what. So you can fix all the bugs.
I think it'd be pretty funny if Apple Intelligence decided that like you have low quality contacts. So it just deletes them for you. It's like, those people suck.
It's like, I tried to summarize your text messages and got them 180 degrees incorrect. We're now purging your phone because clearly you talk to too many people.
Yeah, you're like, you really only need 5 friends, and these are the friends you should have. That would be like the Elon phone. The Elon phone would just like delete all of the contacts that other than Elon.
The Department of Phone Efficiency, dope.
Yeah, dope. It's like we figured out the problem Americans have is they have too many contacts.
I love dope.
I think we should make dope.
That's actually pretty good, Britt.
Removing social media from my phone has been the best thing that I've ever done to my brain.
No, bullshit. Dave, so then you're just sitting here texting me being like, send me the photos you posted on social media. You're like, since I've deleted social media.
No, Dave crawls into bed every night and I show him, Sam. I just show him my phone.
I haven't looked at your social media.
I'm joking.
But Britt, this is my point about assistance. I'd happily hire someone to read the social media for me and then just send me the only good stuff. Like, this is like, just put it all in a proxy.
But Sam, you don't need to do that. Everybody else is on social media anyway, and they'll tell you. It's like amazing.
No, don't do this. This is like the people whose friends will remain nameless who keep Shabbat so they don't have a phone and they just make everyone text for them.
Yeah, that's annoying.
That's like the worst thing, right? Like, don't be that person. Don't be the Shabbat texter person.
No, I found it to be more like, I don't drink alcohol, and I stopped drinking alcohol in 2015. I find it more like that, where everybody around you at social events is doing this thing, and they wonder why you're not. And I don't know. I'm hoping that it goes the way that alcohol has gone, which is as time has gone on, there become more and more non-alcoholic options, and it's great. So, it does feel strange right now. But I will say I feel so much more clear-headed and creative. It's wonderful.
Britt, tell us about this Apple event. What happened?
Oh, well, it was an event, first of all, per Dave. It was an announcement, but Tim Cook gave it. Everyone was like sort of getting excited about it, but a lot of people weren't. A lot of people were like, it's going to be another iteration of the iPhone that has a slightly better camera and like faster chips.
No, it's Sam's favorite phone. What are you talking about?
Oh, did they bring back the SE?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. I'm going to buy like 15 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, just because it's smaller?
I don't even care if they delete all my contacts. That's the best phone ever.
I'm so bored. What? Why? It's
because my hands are weak. My hands are weak and they're small.
I actually don't know what size it is, Sam. That's the thing that I'm not sure about. I haven't looked at it yet.
It's the iPhone 16 SE, and it basically has new chips in it. That
iPhone 16e.
Oh, 16. What are all these acronyms and letters?
I don't know. Does it mean efficiency?
No, it was the SE, but then they put it through the like intelligence thing and it dropped the S. It'd rename the contact.
Here are the 4 things it has. Ready? It has a fast performance with an A18 chip, Apple Intelligence, extraordinary battery life, and a 48 megapixel 2-in-1 camera system, all at an incredible value.
You know what they could charge me more for is not having Apple Intelligence. Why couldn't I pay more to have a phone that doesn't have Apple Intelligence?
I do think I will get it because like I'm a huge Apple fan. I just wanted one thing that was like different and new. And these are like,
it's the less good phone.
Yeah, why are you going to downgrade?
Britt, that's a phone for the poors.
no.
Sam.
I think there are people in the world who care about better battery life and better cameras. Better cameras. Has 2x telephoto lens.
No, it does not have a better camera than the phone you're carrying.
Dave, would you pay more for a phone if Apple marketed as this, which is twice as expensive, but it will not let you download any social media app? Like hard block.
What? Well, what do I get in exchange?
You pay twice as much and you definitely can't download social media.
That's it? I don't get any other cool features?
Well, you get your life back, according to you. Yeah.
Dave has reached inner peace. He doesn't need those gimmicks.
I would, or for instance, would you pay twice as much for a phone that was just forced black and white? Like I like black and white mode, but you can turn it off. What if you had an Apple phone? They're like, new Apple phone, Apple Holistic Life. You can't download apps, black and white.
I mean, aren't you carrying one of those daylight computers? Isn't that what that is?
It sits next to my bed, and I do quite like it.
But it costs twice as much as an iPhone, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't actually know what it costs.
Hmm.
The question is, could you? I would pay more for if you told me it would be the ultimate status symbol. It was a color you can't get anywhere else, so you can also performatively social signal how cool you are. It's black and white only, no Apple Intelligence, awesome camera, no social media. Would you pay more?
I don't know. I think we all have a mutual friend working on this problem, and since it's secret, I won't talk about what it is. But I like the idea that you have to do something better, not something less good, right? Like light phone, daylight, all of these things are like a less good smartphone that also, it's like a diet smartphone, rather than being something that's like much, much better. If you tell me, Sam, that, the exchange is that I get something incredibly better, like, I don't know, incredibly better cameras, and other things, then yes. But like, I don't think you can just say to me like, here's a fasting phone and you have to pay more.
I'm with you. I'm just testing the envelope here though. What if the thing that is better though is just like an Amex Centurion card, which is nothing is better, it's just a status symbol.
Oh yeah, people pay more for status symbols all the time.
I think Jess might be right though, that this thing isn't about status. Like this is about kind of graduating and moving on, and you don't need the status anymore. Like that's what the whole thing is.
Dave, I like your alcohol analogy because it feels like the people who were non-drinkers 5 years ago, some of the same people, you and I can think of others, have also removed themselves from social media.
I think that something happened in the kind of, in the race to TikTok, like I think that something happened with the video driven algorithmic feed. Like I like what, I think Jonah was talking about this in his BuzzFeed letter last week. He talked about how he was talking to the founder of ByteDance in 2017. And the founder of ByteDance said, China is going to graduate more machine learning PhDs in 1 year than America will, graduate maybe ever. And so all I need is a lot of video content and I can create the world's most addictive media service. And he was trying to figure out where to get the media content. And finally, they found Musical.ly, which was generating enough video content that they could try this. And it worked. And that I think demarcated the change from whatever social media was before that moment to what it became in the last, I don't know, however many years. And this whole video algorithmic, it's video AI ML driven feed thing. I think changed things pretty dramatically. It's like the intensity of the what it was feeding you, and the feeling that you got from it became even more, I think, distracting and filling your mind with things that you might be interested in, but I think it just became overwhelming, akin to sugar or alcohol products, where you might have liked it before, you might have had a good period with it and it was great, but you hit kind of a new level where your body just doesn't feel good anymore. And you're like, I need to move on because this isn't working for me anymore. And I think that has to be the thing that's driving this, because I think this time is slightly, if not wholly different than the 2010s where people would quit for a month and come back. Like, I think there's a feeling that there's just something, it's not healthy. And so you got to sort of be really careful with it. We certainly talk about it with our kids, right?
It's a very opium war version of what TikTok is.
Maybe. I mean, but haven't we argued that? Haven't we argued that on the pod pretty extensively?
Sure. I mean, you and I, we spent a whole years looking for digital drugs to invest in when the biggest one was staring us in our face the whole time.
Yeah, for sure.
But Dave, what do you think of the value for business and building a brand and business?
I've found that to be very interesting to think about, actually, which is, I mean, Jess, like, you build a brand directly with subscribers. We've talked about this very extensively. I think the best brands out there are building great products, which are referred to people through word of mouth, not through social media. And I mean, Sam's actually made a really, really, I think, prescient point about this through the Slow Creator Fund, which we talked about last episode, which is that the best communities on the internet even are creators which have a direct one-to-one and then a group relationship with their community. And that even if that creator moved from, Instagram to TikTok to Substack, the community cares so much about the relationship that they have with that creator that they would move with them wherever they go. And the same goes with the best of the best products, whether it's, a jacket that you love or a car that you drive. Like, the product is so good that people refer it to each other word of mouth. So my new thing lately has been this, which is that if you're designing anything, a product, even a piece of media, right? You guys, we were talking to our friend, the documentary filmmaker, last week. And, you think about the documentaries that are the best in the world. People are telling each other about them word of mouth. They're not finding them on social media, right? They become actual mimetic conversational things that move through human networks outside of the internet. And so part of me thinks that we're going to see a pretty strong resurgence of this, in combination with that people are seeking outside of social media. I think the surface for viral great products is actually increasing again for the first time in a long time.
But Dave, just to jump in, I sort of agree with you, but I wonder if it's more of a bifurcation of like fast brands and slow brands, because I think you can build fast brands that we talked about last week, have like high metabolism, people churn out of them quickly, but they're massive on social media and digital platforms. But then, to your point, there are slow brands, which, like, yes, are actually high quality, likely because of the word of mouth. Like, you really have to have high NPS for people to be telling one another about these things, but they're probably not going to grow nearly as fast as a fast brand would, but maybe over a 10 or 20 year arc, like, have really strong businesses and continue to sort of boast high quality and sort of high NPS. I just think you have to build those brands differently.
So can I ask a question? Like, do brands even matter anymore? Like, here's the thing. I'm just thinking about my own life. It's like, there are products I love. Like, since we're talking about skiing in quotes, like, I love my DPS skis, right? And I think they're awesome skis. But like, if someone had a better ski, like, I have no brand loyalty to DPS, right? Like, I'm just like, yeah, it's like just the best tool for like what I want to do right now.
It would be pretty hard to get you to switch, I think.
No, Sam, if there was a new brand, he'd buy them and try them tomorrow. And if they weren't good, he wouldn't switch. But
now, if you take, Dave, you can't even say, not there's a cool brand, but like, Sam, these skis are better than DPS skis. I'd be like, okay, I'll try them. And then if I like them, I just buy them. And so I guess the question for me is like, how much does any of this stuff really matter? Or is the reality that as the world gets more transparent and it's faster metabolism and communication's more instant, you literally just care about the specific product being the best and for whatever it is you need. It could be the best price point for quality. It could just be quality. It could be whatever.
Isn't that what I said? I mean, I literally said, if you make a great product, then the product moves.
Yeah, that would be a slow brand, and maybe it's a product, but I think it takes longer.
But I think Sam's making a differentiation between slow and fast products, right?
Well, yeah, it's just I'm just trying to make a difference between a product and a brand.
Well, I will say, like the one thing that did happen this week that is sort of counter to your point, Sam, is that for the first time ever, Nike launched a co-branded like Nike SKIMS line of products that'll be like launching later this year. They've never done like an actual lockup like that with another brand with a whole line of products. They've done like collabs and things like that.
That's not true. They did Tom Sachs.
No, like that was like a collab. That was like a pop-up. This is like a lot. This is logo lockup, like full branded line that is not just like a pop-up.
I'm sorry, but what's the difference?
Because a collab is sort of like a pop-up partnership. Whereas like from what I've read about Nike SKIMS, this is like meant to be an ongoing product line. It's a new brand for women. It's merging the two brands together.
But Britt, is that because Nike is weak right now?
Nike is definitely weak.
I think so. But this is my point. The SKIMS brand is strong. It's a fast brand for sure.
I would argue that SKIMS is not fast.
Relative to Nike, it's a fast brand. I guess the question is how you define it.
I don't think so. SKIMS doesn't output like an enormous number of new products every year. SKIMS creates they create a pretty narrow set of products.
It's not like that, but it's a brand that has leveraged social media for everything it's done. Like it is built on the back of Kim Kardashian and all of the social media.
Is it built on the back or the butt? Isn't it built on the butt of Kim Kardashian?
Yes.
So Dave, SKIMS is actually constantly like tweaking products and launching. It's like the scoop cut t-shirt bra, the scoop cut stretch t-shirt bra, the scoop cut bikini stretch t-shirt bra. Like that's what they do. And then I find that the product does not hold up at all. And so I very much put it in the camp of like Zara for me, like very fast fashion.
So here's the question. In a different era, if Nike were strong, they probably would have just bought SKIMS, but they can't afford it / SKIMS doesn't want to sell out.
No, literally there's a CNN headline that says Nike is in a slump. It's hired Kim Kardashian to help. That's the headline. Like
you guys, I mean, objectively, Nike is in a slump. Like it was run into the ground by the last CEO, and they just switched CEOs to the guy who was doing it before and actually was winning. And so, they've got design back at the helm again. And as long as Nike has design at the helm, they win.
I know that Nike's in a slump, but in my life, it does not because it's all my 8-year-old wears. And it is the sponsor of all the elite tennis players still. Like it's
It's true, Jess, but they objectively just like destroyed the business.
No, I know they are. I know that there's a business reality that is different than my reality. But like even my like really fancy designery friends like wear Nike athleisure constantly. So I think there's hope for it.
Oh yeah, I wear Nike every day.
Their stock, since the announcement, their stock is up 9% and off of like $113 billion market cap. It's like $10 billion. Like, so like, and SKIMS is valued at $4 billion right now.
I think this won't end well. I'm predicting, the 24-month information expose on what went wrong.
You should probably staff that now.
I have a sports reporter and a retail reporter, so I'm good.
But Jess, you're not an agenda-driven journalist.
No, I'm not. We're looking for the truth.
I think that based on how you described how their product iteration approach, it actually sounds a lot more like Nike to me than it does Zara, right? Zara is putting out like, I don't know what the number per week is, but it's like an enormous number of products per week.
Yeah, it's probably not as many SKUs as Zara. But I was just talking about bras, Dave. They're doing that for underwear. They're doing that for PJs.
I understand.
They're doing that for swim.
But I've always perceived SKIMS to be a design-driven, like customer-centric brand, which is like, selling a product, listening to customers, iterating it, making it better, which is the same thing that Nike does, right? And so it might actually work out.
I think you've fallen for some awesome SKIMS market. Like, I think that is exactly the reputation of the brand. It is not my lived experience or that of my friends with the brand.
Well, but is Nike's quality the same thing?
Yeah, no, Nike's quality is still great.
No, Nike's way better quality. Yeah.
Consistent.
Which maybe is why SKIMS paired with Nike. Like they'll use their quality of stuff with SKIMS consumer marketing.
Didn't they do that fly technology, Sam, for running that?
Yeah, but everyone caught up and it's like everyone else has it too now too.
But the story, like they lost elite runners, right? Isn't that one of the things that...
I think they have generally lost elite runners. Yes. But look, I just think it's interesting. This is what I just feel like we're having this conversation about between a brand and a product, right? And I the thing I go back to is like, yes, there are still brands in the world. I just wonder if their relative importance goes down when it's like, I don't really care. Like, I like Hoka shoes on the margin. If there are 4 things and I'm like, okay, I know these work for me. I know they're good. Like, fine, I'll just like trust them to a point. That's the brand value. But I also can learn faster than ever that actually Brooks now has a better shoe for XYZ and I'll just buy the Brooks. Like, I wonder if brand loyalty in general goes down as transparency and information goes up. And then all it just becomes is like, are you producing the right products? And like, what equity really is there in those brands?
But I go back to my point, Sam, which is that great products create brands. And as long as you focus on product and stay focused on product, your brand will be fine, right? Like if Hoka or DPS or, whoever continues to make the best product in the category and they don't take their eye off the ball and go do something else, right? Like the classic example, and Sam, we saw this happen all the time in the D2C era of the 2010s. You'd have like a product company driving a seriously good product direct to consumer, and then somebody from the prior era would show up on the board and they would say, you need to expand now into 1,000 different SKUs. And they would take their eye off the ball on the product that was driving their brand and try to go do a bunch of SKUs in categories that they don't understand at all and have no product sense for. And the business would collapse and die. And so to me, like, I feel like this is the perennial lesson, which is as long as you stay focused on great product and driving that product, which is what started this actual conversation, by the way, the iPhone is that product, right? Like they've continued to just keep making the product better.
Sorry. And I wanted to caveat, because now I've actually read it. It is the 16E. It does have the same megapixels as the Pro, but is definitely the budget phone. It's $599 versus $999.
Okay, good. Britt's not getting one, guys. We can all agree.
She's going to get 4 for the price of 1.
Guys, I'm switching to Android and Britt is not downgrading and we're good. Speaking though of product, you guys see the Humane fire sale. What did you guys think of that?
Someone tweeted, this was funny. Someone tweeted, you think as a founder, the worst thing that can happen is you lose all your investors' money and have to declare bankruptcy and move on. But then you actually are humane and realize this is the worst thing that could happen. And it was a like headline about how Bethany and Imran have to now run the like AI unit at HP for like a certain number of years.
So I'm sure our listeners remember, but Humane was the AI pen. So everyone, well, I don't think, not everyone got excited. Humane got very excited and did a press tour to end all press tours, giving away these items at Fashion Week, so on and so forth. And on one hand, I think what was cool about it was we're at a point of trying to imagine what new types of AI-driven hardware the phone might be. And Humane was one of the first to really put a stake in the ground with a pin.
One of the first to make a massive mistake.
I give them credit for trying.
I don't.
It was interesting. I think their press strategy was baffling to me. Baffling. And it was former Apple folks who I know Britt and Dave know well, and this is making them very uncomfortable, but alas, this is our lives. And it was just, like they couldn't help themselves to launch the way that they did. And
it was the most predictable startup failure you could imagine. And it's just shot. I mean, the question for me is why? Who even paid $160 million for this piece of shit?
Well, as you know, Sam, these deals are never what they appear to be.
Yeah. It's probably $160 million in retention packets for the whole team.
I mean, I've heard deals quoted in all ways, shape, or form. And it turns out that usually what happens is what you think happens, right? Then that the assets were not valued at something and other money will change hands.
All I can say is, you know what I'm least excited about anything possible? If you said, what do you want to put AI in that I'm least excited about? You know what the answer is? A printer. A printer. I want the printer to fucking print something. If you put AI in my printer, I'm going to lose my shit. It's the one thing I want is I told you to print the thing. I didn't tell you to translate and interpret it, right? And
Sam, remember when you were faxing people back and forth for a month?
It's unbelievable.
Sam, come on, man. You can put random mode on your printer so that everything that comes out is generated into something else.
Put your assistant who's connected to all the LLMs and the printer and say, send Dave and Britt a random note today, and we'll just see what happens.
Why? Guys, it's literally like a Charlie Chaplin movie. This is like a Charlie Chaplin movie where they're going to the printer is going to be spitting out paper. What AI? You'd be oh, you're probably going to run out of paper tomorrow? What on earth are they going to put AI in a fucking printer for?
I think they're going to expand to new product categories I
think they're trying to make the stock number go up with AI, right? I think it makes no sense. I think it's a disaster, right? But it's kind of funny because it's if you're the team that launched an obviously terrible product, of course you're going to go make another obviously terrible product at HP.
I do think they probably have a lot of interesting technology and patents that could be reutilized in a whole new way inside different hardware. So that's likely what's going on over there.
AI printer. A printer with AI is a disaster.
When you're the first person to buy the new AI fax machine from HP, I'm going to laugh in your face. You're totally going to buy the AI fax machine.
No, I'm definitely not. I mean, that's the thing is it literally I think that's probably their problem is everyone bought the printer. No one needs more printers, right? This is not a thing you have to rebuy.
They also do 3D printers.
And they do photo printers.
Guys, let's get a word in.
Here's what I respect. Founders who land the plane. It's really, really hard to land a plane. Sam, you landed a plane at Meta.
Yeah, that was a much better deal.
I don't know.
It was a much better deal.
I think that founders, I think the thing they deserve credit for is they didn't actually start with AI. They started with a totally different thought around what the product might be. It didn't work as well as they thought it would. They added AI to it. That didn't work as well as they thought it would. They, built a pretty amazing team. I want to say they had 300 employees there. A lot of them were best of the best from Apple and around the Valley. So even if you just value what HP just acquired on, the per engineer cost, they're paying that's a pretty good deal, right? For getting the employee base. And I'm not going to argue with you guys on the launch. I think the launch was an Apple style launch in an era that doesn't respect that. You can't do Apple style launches in the social media era. I just think that was a massive mistake. I also think the product was probably the wrong product, right? It's clear that Meta had the right idea with glasses, and these guys went a different direction. I give them credit for having a strong opinion. To do hardware requires a very strong opinion. You've got to have an opinion and you've got to point it in a direction and try. And it takes 2 years usually to produce the things. And by the time that they're out the door, sometimes it fails, right? And so, they could have just faded out and not landed the plane. And I've seen a lot of founders do that. And so my respect goes to them for landing the plane, good deal or not. Here's what I do know. The later stage investors got some kind of a deal. The early stage ones, including me, lost their money. But I'd much rather see founders land the plane and close out of the market and do something else when they know it's not working than try to keep going and become a zombie.
So I'm with you on the zombie thing for sure. It's good to clear the decks, but just to push a few things. One is I actually have a lot of respect for the entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs are great. I would say I have no respect for the investors on this one. This was a clear zero, right? That some really misdirected investors invested in, right? Like, I'm not saying necessarily the early ones, fine, it's an exploration, but the late stage guys is like, come on. Then you're like landing the plane. Like, here's the thing. I actually agree with you. There's no way that HP could attract any talent to make AI printers, right? Like, they're not getting it. No one's that stupid, right? So like, if you told me that HP was like, look, we're going to spend $160 million to get a bunch of people that would never in a million years work for us on AI printers because we know the market, we think the market's going to like AI printers, this is the way, fine. I kind of get it. But here's the thing I don't like, Dave, is like, why are late stage investors getting any money back on this, right? Give it to the engineers, give it as retention packages. Why would you do that?
I'm actually not sure. It might actually all be going. I haven't seen the deal. So I know I lost money. So the early stage investors lost their money.
But we lost like 100K, like not like a lot of.
If you told me the deal, if you told me what was happening here was, look, all bullshit aside, it's like HP's like, we want some AI engineers. We know no one would ever work for us to do this. And we think the market needs it. We think we need it.
You guys know who the late stage investors are? Well, I should check my information.
I'm sure Grok does. But like, the point is like, if you said that, and the deal was, it's actually
SoftBank and Microsoft.
It's all optics. And what it really is like 300 people, 150 of them are really good. Of this whole thing, 10 of them will actually stay at HP. But HP's like, fuck it, the market will give us the benefit of like having AI now. And those 10 want a job and everyone else goes, fine. But I hope that late stage investors didn't get paid back on this because it's ridiculous.
HP is up about 1.5% today, just saying.
Because AI, how much?
Just saying. Oh, and 5% over the last 5 days. I mean, we're moving.
You know why? It's because there's enough like bots running around the stock markets that just see the word AI and buy.
I can't believe HP is a $32 billion market cap. That's crazy.
The total capital stack was in the 400s. There's no way anybody got anything meaningful back.
I don't know, man.
So the Series C was led by Kindred Ventures, Steve Yang. And then...
Why?
Well, because if you're an AI-focused fund, as Kindred is, then you have to invest in AI things. But the other people, SK Networks, Microsoft, LG, Volvo, Tiger Global, Qualcomm, and then Lockheed Groom, Sam Altman.
Which, by the way, if you think about the capital stack there, it's really easy to read it. Sam Altman, fine, he doesn't care. It's AI, right? Lockheed Groom, he doesn't care. It's AI. Then you have a bunch of strategics and family offices because no smart people would invest in this, right? Like, that's like how you end up with strategics and like hedge funds is when like the serious venture people are like, absolutely not.
Tiger Global is a legitimate hardcore tech investor.
Tiger Global has done some great investing. Tiger Global's done some terrible tech investing.
Yeah, that's true.
But they've done some good tech investing, and like on net probably works for them because it's asymmetric. Maybe.
I think we have to remember the time. I mean, not that we aren't still in a hype cycle, but 2003, 2 years ago, almost to the day, was this announced. And it was the get in on everything AI. And the strategics were building their alliances and trying to get their products pushed out. And it was just a different era.
Yeah, and I think if you look at like Volvo probably wanted it for voice AI hardware and integrating it into the car, right? Like that's not a crazy investment.
News of the week also, and a tangent, is that Meta has now sold 2 million smart glasses and they're ramping up their production to push 10 million this year. So
it's the clear winner.
It's a great device. But here's the thing. I'm actually surprised it's only 2 million because like I bought like 5. You guys have each bought like 6. I mean, it's like...
No, I only have 2, Sam. My ratio is lower.
We lost one pair, so we had to get another one.
In terms of real challenges with Meta, if you figured out that they'll only let you pair 2 pairs of glasses to the app at once, it's like, what's up with that?
You guys, this is the best story. Our son lost a pair of ours in a cab in Tokyo. And apparently when you lose anything in Tokyo, it does get turned into the police station. And so we had our friend go down to the police station and the Tokyo police questioned him for an hour because they thought that it was international spy technology.
Oh, that's great.
Because they don't sell them in Asia yet. And so, we did finally get them back. But
now he's on the watch list. our Japanese friend. We love you, Taka.
Well, it's funny to that point. It's funny because one thing, I was actually with someone showing them last night who hadn't seen them and was super into them, and their first thing was like, "Can I turn off the LED?" Right, the little LED thing, because that so that you're being recorded. And it's interesting because I actually know it's like they spent so much time trying to figure out how to engineer it so that it would brick it if you try to disable that LED for exactly that reason. Like, it's a wild the amount of engineering that went into that. Like, make sure the LED cannot be disabled for exactly that reason.
It's a different era, though. I actually would not be surprised if that goes away.
It's a good point about the numbers, though, which I didn't realize until that day because I wanted to get another pair for the rest of our trip. And we went to the Ray-Ban store and they're like, no, not available anywhere in Asia yet. So these things aren't global yet. So I would imagine these numbers go up pretty substantially as they roll out globally.
Yeah, well, look, if the Chinese are going to put the GoPros to map everything, we should throw the Meta glasses over there and map all their shit.
True.
I love it.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll allow that.
Make America global again.
Gosh.
Have the Meta glasses made it into porn yet?
Oh, God.
It seems obvious.
Sam, are you asking a rhetorical question because you're the more or less porn correspondent?
I have never seen porn filmed with the Meta glasses, but it seems obvious. And maybe the fact that it hasn't happened yet just shows how niche it still is.
Did they also go to great lengths to block that from happening?
How could they?
This does bring up a question, though. If Britt is pop culture corner and Sam is adult content corner, Dave is mental health corner. Guys, I need a corner.
Well, you're like the moderator, so you get to flow in between all of us.
Jess, you are the global corner.
No, your corner is reality, Jess. You're like actual reality
You
corner.
specialize in facts. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Fact corner. Got it.
This commodity that's hard to come by these days, facts.
Dave, this reminds us, when are we going to do our sports episode?
Oh, we need to. Yeah.
I go to one NBA Tech Summit and I've decided.
Yeah. Jess and I were talking extensively about this. We'll get some good guests.
Yeah. Sports corner. There's cool things happening.
Okay, can I leave you with one thing, you guys?
Leave us with one thing.
Ready for mind to be blown? We've the internet is cracked who they think Satoshi is. Satoshi,
No.
who is the character that created Bitcoin. This is happening.
Right. I don't think the internet has cracked it. It sounds like an HBO documentary claims to maybe have cracked it.
There are a lot of interesting facts that seem to point to, drum roll, please. Ready? Jack Dorsey. Dorsey.
Okay. That is no way true. Like,
No.
The facts are really crazy, you guys. Go to Metaverse on Instagram. Put a 3 in the verse. It's a real account. It has millions of followers. This is making its way all around the internet.
Look, Jack Dorsey has had some real product breakthroughs. I respect Jack Dorsey as someone who thinks about product in interesting ways. Jack Dorsey does not have even close to the actual technical chops to have come up with Bitcoin. Just like there's no chance.
Well, some people think it was a group of 5 people, but Jack was one of them in the founding crew.
wait, but Britt, you said these are facts and you've proposed 4 different opinions.
No, the fact is that Jack Dorsey was part of this from the beginning.
What's the evidence?
Okay, there's 100 pieces of evidence. I just texted you guys all these things. He was one of 1,300 cypherpunks in 1996.
Listen, do you understand how bad the engineering of Twitter is? Twitter was at one point relying on a single Mac Mini to stay on the internet.
What about Square?
But again, the same guy. You're saying the guy who's responsible for Twitter, you think is a good enough engineer to come up with Bitcoin? No chance.
In 2003, he had a bio that said he was into crypto, pseudonyms, 4am hacks, and more. And he referred to himself as Jack, J-A-K, instead of Jack, J-A-C-K. Jack was as part of the source code that there's Jack. In the original Bitcoin source code included sailors quotes that Jack was tweeting during the time.
Britt, you've gone full QAnon on us. This is like QAnon level conspiracy stuff, connecting all kinds of things that have nothing to do with each other.
I'm just saying, it's an interesting conspiracy.
Here's the clearest evidence. If Jack Dorsey were Satoshi, Jack Dorsey would have told us that he was Satoshi immediately.
But what if there are 5 Satoshis and he's one of the 5?
He would have told us. Even better. It would have been even better. Like, even easier. Oh, there are 4 others, but...
Well, I'm just telling you what the internet's buzzing about. You can read it and make your own judgments.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll read it. That just feels so conspiracy theory. Speaking of not wanting to waste brain space on things, that is one of them.
Guys, I have a conspiracy theory. I am Satoshi.
We would all sell our Bitcoin right away.
You know why? Because I was alive in 2009. I worked in the early days of Venmo. Before that, ooh,
Sam, are you a sailor? Are you a sailor? That's a critical.
I am
fact.
a sailor. I am a sailor, and I've always been interested in decentralization and currencies. Don't mind the fact that I would stand by my product chops, my engineering chops stop around Ruby on Rails. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
But Sam, have you been interested in cryptography? That's important here.
I have, believe it or not. I just want to let you know that.
Okay. With that, we should give a huge thanks to our listeners, our viewers. A lot of facial expressions this episode. So if you didn't watch the video, you missed out. A lot of going on in the information sharing with the visuals. To our awesome back channel, we've had some great conversations there. So thank you very much. And definitely building up the roster of speakers for the coming weeks. So get ready for that.
We are?
Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah, guys, you got the email. I assigned everyone an order.
Sam's been skiing, Jess.
See where you are in the rotation. And I think, Dave, you're up first, right?
I think so.
You're the guest?
No, Dave's going to book the guest.
Jess, we know this means that you and I both have to nag our husbands to do this work to get the guests, but we'll make it happen.
You know who? Oh, guys, I have a great idea. Let's get Satoshi.
If this becomes true, we're definitely getting him on. We're going to talk about it.
Well, thank you again, friends. It's going to be such a treat to see you IRL very shortly, and all our children. Thank you for inviting them. You may regret it. And we'll see you next week on another episode of More or Less. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later.
If you enjoyed this show, please leave us a virtual high five by rating it and reviewing it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Find more information about each episode in the show notes and follow us on social media by searching for @MoreOrLess, @DaveMorin, @Lesson, @JLesson, and as for me, I'm @Brit. See you guys next time.